Hi everybody, Justin Weber, Amson Sound, and I wanted to share one last video for the night. This is my personal Kenzie. So just like every other customer, when an order is placed, even for me, there's a wait and it goes through a production queue. We just had 4 Kenzies that we finished, and I was lucky enough to have one of the 4. This Kenzie is in black lacquer for the chassis, so it's a walnut chassis that we then put a matte black finish on. It's my way of always trying to find out which ones were mine, and hopefully everybody thinks it's ugly and no one ever wants it from me, and so it gets to stay. Doesn't always work out that way, but that's the hope. So this the Kenzie's been made for almost 10 years now, and this year represents the first major, real substantive change to the Kenzie. So when we first started building tube amps for headphones, we had been building them for really high efficiency speakers, and so the Kenzie, like the Mogwai originally, had that same sort of logic structure of for 2-channel amps, all the jacks in the front, volume pod, all the jacks in the rear, volume pod in the front. And so I wanted the amp to be as small as it could be, as distilled as possible, a real pure idea. It was meant to be something that you could have on a credenza or on a sofa back table, on your lamp table, nightstand. It was never meant to be a deep amp, and so this is a really shallow amp. Respectively, it's 8.5 inches deep. The jacks always come from the top because some of my first racks were bookshelves, and you could never have a deep. If you had the IEC or the jacks in the rear, you'd have to have a shelf that was 3 inches deeper, and then you couldn't really have it on a bookshelf. And so this is, still representative of that same sort of pure thinking of a distilled idea, no fluff, no fancy on it, like a race car. All the excess is pulled away to give you this pure idea. But this year gave us the first real substantive upgrade to the Kenzie in 10 years. In that, as a Rev2 now, we have 9-pin tubes. So, though I love the 12SL7, it is an amazingly romantic tube. It was befitting the sound of the 1626 triode. It had a higher noise floor, unfortunately, and it was prone to microphonics. So, though it imparted that classic sound, it wasn't without sacrifice. Going to the 9-pin front end, we can still find vintage tubes inexpensively, roll our front end for the amount of gain that we want, adjusting for our noise floor correspondingly, and still find that sonic sweetness that we're looking for. So that's what the Kenzie is about. Transformers still made in the US. Very proprietary, very special transformers. Our outputs don't go through a voltage divider network. All the secondary impedances are reflective of the actual, what we're intending the voice coil to see. So, a 32 ohm tap, which is what the Kenzie Low Z is a 32 ohm tap. So really great with almost any headphone you ever wanted to pair with. A 32 ohm tap would be a great starting point. And then for our dynamics, so your ZMFs, your Sennheisers of the world, there's a 300 ohm tap, and it sounds magical, and it's dead silent. So with a 12AX7 front end, 1626 is on the 300 ohm tap. It's dead silent on the Verite closed, or on my 800Ss. So people ask though, what's your choice of tubes, Justin? It comes with normally a JJ803S, which is a long plate tube, very reliable, sounds great, has a lot of high frequency energy though. So that's not necessarily my first choice. I choose it as the stock choice though, because it still gives you that high-end shimmer, and it gives you a forward presentation, and then you can always go more laid back by rolling tubes otherwise. But for me, as this is my unit, we have RCA 1626s. We always match them, so when they leave from here, they're always matched. And then you have a Sylvania Jan Phillips 5751. Anyway, I hope you guys like my personal lamp. I sure as heck do. Thanks so much.